If there's one thing I appreciate so much about some of the great managers in the world of soccer today, the likes of Jose Mourinho, Sir Alex Ferguson, now retired, Klopp, Pep Guardiola. If there's one thing I appreciate about these coaches is their ability to manage games and get positive results, whenever it's needed. And that is one thing that the current Chelsea coach is lacking. This is a coach that played 2 matches in a row, lost both matches, and in the same circumstances, a player down, and could not manage these games. And it makes one wonder, though, that why would a coach who is at home, let's forget the first game. The first game he played against Manchester United. And you can agree with me that Manchester wanted to get a result, especially against a team like Chelsea. They wanted to get a result to make a statement. Now, United have their own issues, which we're going to be talking about later. But let's talk about Chelsea coach. When he played that game at Old Trafford, that game, the changes that he made, the substitution that he made were wrong, were off. From day one, you will know he's a coach who's afraid. He's a coach who want to play a defensive style of football after the red card. He was disorientated, and as a result, he made rash decisions that, to me, I believe were reckless, inexperienced, and not worth the Chelsea's level, the Chelsea that we know, the culture that was built at Chelsea of winning. Now, he lost that game 3-1. He lost that game 2-1, against Manchester United. Now, coming at home again, he played at Stamford Bridge against Brighton. Chelsea took the lead against Brighton, and you are home at Stamford Bridge. Another mistake from the defender, Chaluba. He got a red card. If you are a coach that know how to manage your game and also understand that you are playing at home, you are playing against a small team. Yes, and a very offensive side that the substitutions that you're going to make will be a signal to them the kind of game that you want to play. And the changing players, bringing in the likes of Gusto, was a clear indication that you wanted to defend. And the Brighton players now understood that Chelsea want to sit back. They don't want to attack anymore. So what do? We're going to mount the pressure on them until we get something positive. And they succeeded in getting that. If you look at the Brighton, this is why I'm talking about coaches are managing of their games efficiently. Looking at the Brighton coach, what did he do? He brought in Welbeck. Welbeck is a very dangerous player. You might look at him, the work rate of that guy is just dangerous. I appreciate him so much. He's a player that we don't often talk about. People look at him and think this guy is just, player who could not make it at United that much. He went to other clubs and he's trying to play here and there. But that is something very unique about this guy. His ability to get something out of nothing. The pressure, his work rate, like I said earlier, is second to none. So this guy came on in the Brighton. And when the moment I saw the substitution, I already say to myself that Chelsea are not going to get something out of this game. Understanding the Chelsea coach who don't have the ability to manage games, who don't understand, who don't know how to make substitutions. Especially when you are a man down. When you're a man down, your defender is out. You have nothing to lose. You are playing against a small team. Make a statement. Go all out there and play. And that is what Jose Mourinho would do. That is what Ferguson would do. That is what Pep Guardiola would do. I guarantee you, that is what the Liverpool coach, Ancelotti, that is what he would do. If he's playing against a Brighton side and they got a red card and they're at home, they want to get something out of that game. And what do? They were going to make sure that they bring in substitutions that will be able to add fire to that. And when you are a man down, it's actually more difficult for teams to play against you. But not this Chelsea side. A man down again, the coach did not learn from the previous game against Manchester United. And he made those substitutions. The young players that you're supposed to, if you look at the young players that you're supposed to leave to be able to mount the pressure on Brighton, you took them out. You know, look at the game Jose Mourinho played against in the Champions League. Just taking us back a little bit, he played the Champions League against Barcelona, the almighty Barcelona. And Barcelona then, I can guarantee you, they had the likes of Xavi, Iniesta, they have the likes of Messi, you know, Iniesta. They have these guys in that team. But Jose Mourinho, with a player down, was able to hold his ground until he got to the final of the Champions League, which eventually he won. That is what I'm talking about. That is how you manage your game as a coach. Not this coach every now and then is panicking, then is making substitutions that cannot have an effect on the game. You bring in, okay, the first touch of Gusto in that game, if you watch it very well, Gusto got a ball. It was a ball that he was supposed to, as a player who is experienced, who is attacking minded, player who can take that ball, he was supposed to go straight into the 18-yard of Brighton. But what did he do? He cut it back to have to go and pass. What are you defending? A man down at that stage. You are defending. You know, and this, to me, I feel like there's just something off about this coach. He doesn't know how to manage games, doesn't know how to manage the kind of players, the potential in that team is not utilizing it. He is not utilizing it at all. He is just panicking here and there. Once you get a red card at Stamford Bridge, where the fans are behind you, where you have the players, you have nothing to look at. At the end of the day, you lost that game 3-1. So what were you being cautious about? You lost 3-1 at home. What you were supposed to do is allow your attacking minded players to be there. And if you leave one player up front, Brighton are going to come all out to make sure they get something out of this game. And then you hit them. That is experience. That is what this coach doesn't have. Now you're dropping unnecessary points. At home you lost a 3-1 against Brighton side. A Brighton side. It is just becoming too much, and I don't know what Chelsea fans are thinking or what they're saying right now, but the truth of the matter is that this coach messed up big time, and Chelsea lost. Anyway, that is just for Chelsea. There's another team also that is misbehaving, badly in the English Premier League, and they are like Chelsea's twin brothers. They are together. Whenever Chelsea is dropping points, they're also dropping points. Manchester United is another club that we don't know what is happening to them right now. It's not working. And I don't recommend the firing of the coach. For me, he did a wonderful job at Sporting Lisbon in Portugal. He should have remained there. But he wanted, obviously, to be seen on a big stage, which is the English Premier League. And coaching a team like Manchester United is a dream come true for every coach. But coming to Manchester United at a time where they are not even building. What Manchester United are doing at the moment, nobody can explain what they are doing. They are not building. There's no progress. They're just stagnant. You know, you can't see United today. They win a match today, they can go 3 without winning. So there is no progress. There's no building stage. And I say this, and I'm going to reiterate some of the things that I've said in the past. I said before that Manchester United, after Sir Alex Ferguson, they were supposed to at least hire a coach, give that coach time to build a club. Let's say in the next 2-3 years, we're going to go through a phase. And that phase is going to be a phase of struggle, a phase of rebuilding, and a phase, of gaining momentum and bringing that club back to its old glory. But what did they do? They started bringing in different coaches with different philosophies, different coaches with ideas that, some try to implement here and there, and the players were not adapting to these. They were not adapting to these ideas, and that affected the club. And look at where the club is now. So there's no coach that is coming in. The likes of Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho actually performed a miracle by winning Europa and the FA Cup with his team. He won Europa with this team, so that was a miracle. United fans were supposed to be with this, be grateful to this guy for giving them that trophy with this kind of team, the Manchester United, the way they are performing at the moment. This used to be a global. They're still a global brand, but the way they are playing, it's not showing that United is actually a good side. So where are they going wrong? There's no structure at the moment. United don't have a structure. People complain here and there that the coach is trying to implement his ideas and it's not working. These are not the coach's ideas. Even if the ideas are, the thing is, every player at United right now do not understand what it entails to play for Manchester United. They don't know. So United, what are they doing? They're going down. United are becoming on the level, the same level of the likes of West Brom. Not West Brom. West Brom in Championship. But you can say that because now if United are going to be fighting for relegation. So on the table and in soccer at the moment, that is the way they're playing. United are not playing like a team that you will see that, okay, there's a lot of progress here and there. There's no progress. They are stagnant at the moment. And it's so sad. It's so sad. I'm so passionate about it because I'm talking about some of the big teams in England, in the world of soccer. So when you talk about it, as a soccer lover, as a football lover, you express your dissatisfaction with some of the things that are emanating from these teams, and that is exactly what is happening with me when I see these teams going down so bad. United lost away to Brentford 3-1. What a shameful performance, And then there's another team in the English Premier League that is doing so very well. I've stated here on this show before that they are the team that I'm more impressed with so far this season, and that is Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace are proving to Liverpool that the FA Cup, the Community Shield that they won was not a fluke. It was actually a tactical master plan from the coach. So they prove once again to Liverpool that they have that superior advantage. They're superior to these guys when it comes to tactics and everything. And they proved it. Ketia scored a 9 minutes goal as Crystal Palace beat Liverpool 2-1. So Liverpool, now you ask yourself, where are they going wrong? They are a good side. Anyway, losing against a Crystal Palace side that is well solid. The only team in the English Premier League that is unbeaten. And they are unbeaten now in 18 matches. So I give it to them. When they were losing Eze, I thought that was the end of Crystal Palace. But these guys are proven to be a force to be reckoned with. People are going to see these guys because one thing about these teams is that they have nothing to lose. So they play to their strength. And then they force you to play their style. And that is what these guys are doing. And they're playing very well, beating Liverpool, the defending champions. Although Liverpool are still on top of the table, but Crystal Palace make sure, they put a little dent on their record in the Premier League. And their first defeat of the season in the English Premier League came from Crystal Palace, who beat them in the Community Shield, by the way. So that is how good this team is. And I'm so impressed with them. They are the players that you don't often talk about, but the work rate, the team cohesion, and the way in which they are playing, it's something that I'm more impressed with. Crystal Palace won that game 2-1. In the English Premier League, another team that I said it before that if Liverpool don't win the English Premier League, I see this team winning it, and that is Arsenal. Arsenal proving to a lot of us now that are coming of age. They're not the Arsenal that will capitulate at the end of every game that they're losing. They're now beginning to show that they have the capacity to win the English Premier League. And I was impressed with them over the weekend when they played against Newcastle United. Newcastle United were leading 1-0. And I thought that was over. And the Arsenal that we're used to, it was just going to be a deja vu. It was just going to be Arsenal that we know. And then that's the result. That's how it's going to be. But Arsenal saying, you know what? We are going to make sure that we prove everybody wrong. And I am impressed with them, with the way they are playing. Eze coming in, Declan Rice, they are playing very well. Beating Newcastle, they scored 2 minutes goals, 2 goals, and they won that game that nobody expected they were going to win, But if you want to become the champion, if you want at the end of the season to be crowned the champion of the EPL, that is what you do. And that is exactly what Arsenal did. Gabriel scored a winning goal. Arsenal beat Newcastle at home 2-1. Kudos to the Arsenal team. I'm so happy with them and the way in which they're playing at the moment. So winning against Newcastle away was an impressive result for Arsenal. I hope they will keep up because we want to see competition. We want to see people who are going to be competing for the Premier League. I don't just want it to be a one-sided thing. I want to see a highly competitive Premier League this season. And Arsenal are doing a great job. And I'm so happy with them. And I believe Arsenal fans are happy as well with these results. All right, and another team that played in the English Premier League, Manchester City against Burnley. That was a game that was expected, right? A lot of us expected that the result to go the way it went. Manchester City was a dominant one in that game, and they won that game 5-1 against a Burnley side. So, I mean, it wasn't a shocker. It was just a normal game for the Manchester City side. So, hopefully, they are also going to be able to build on that result and continue to win more matches. Moving straight into the Spanish league, where Real Madrid were humiliated by the neighbors Atletico Madrid. It was a game that everybody was looking forward to. I believe the people in that city were excited with the result, understanding the fact that Atletico have not been in great form this season, but playing against Real Madrid, one would have expected them to up their game. That was exactly what they did. They made sure that they humiliated Real Madrid. Mavericks, what did you do? Scored 2 goals again. And then his coach came out, Diego Simeone came out to say that these guys should be protected. I told the club, the staff and the club, that they should protect this guy so that he's going to stay longer for the club and do amazing things for this club. And so far, it's looking like the guy is doing just that. Beating Real Madrid 5-2. It was a result that was not too expected by a lot of people. But Madrid lost the first match in the season. Now, Barcelona played at home against Real Sociedad, despite the fact that Sociedad took the lead. Barcelona came back, goals from Conde and the talisman Lewandowski scored the winning goal as Barcelona won that game 2-1, moving on top of the season. Are we not on top of the league, not the season, on top of the table? Are we now going to say that it's over for Real Madrid when Barcelona is on top of the league? Well, it is too early in the league. So we have to wait and see. All right, moving to Italian league where the competition is heating up. Like I always say, right, that the league is still too early into the league and the league just started. So we have to be very patient. However, I say it all the time, the points that you accumulate now will count for you at the end of the season. So it seems that some teams want to actually be counted for as the best comes end of the season in Italian league. You have the likes of your Juventus, you have your AC Milan, Napoli, you have Inter Milan. All these teams are doing very well, just making sure that they put pressure on whoever is going to win it. And so the competition is getting heated up that side. And I like it. I am loving it already. When you have the defending champion Napoli travel to AC Milan and they were beaten by AC Milan, I hope the Chelsea coach will come and learn from this coach that when you get a red card, it doesn't mean that it's over for you. When you get a red card, it actually means that you're going to manage your game and get positive result. And that was exactly what the AC Milan coach and the players did when they played against Napoli. They made sure that they scored 2 goals, got a red card, penalty given to Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne put a goal down, but it wasn't enough to save the defending champions from a defeat at AC Milan. AC Milan are now on top of the league table. Juventus are up there, Napoli are up there, Inter Milan are up there. These guys, they are making sure that the competition, you cannot sit now and predict who's going to win it. It will be difficult for you to predict. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is what we have for you in Europe. After this, a short break, I'll be giving the results of the Under-20 World Cup that is ongoing. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The Under-20 World Cup just started. It's ongoing, and I'm going to be giving you some of the scores in the matches that took place, and here are the matches. Brazil Under-20 played against Mexico, and they drew the game 2-2. Cuba played against Argentina Under-20. Argentina Under-20 won that game 3-1. Chile played against New Zealand. Chile winning that game 2-1. Paraguay played against Panama Under-20. Paraguay, of course, won that game 3-2. Italy Under-20 won against Australia Under-20 1-0. And Morocco against Spain Morocco representing Africa, where so far they won that game 2-0 against the Spanish under 20. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the Soccer Highlight with myself, Amy Akura. I'll be bringing a lot of soccer results that are going to be taking place during the week. Over the weekend, I'll bring them to you. I don't want you to miss anything with me on RTM Sports Highlight. Until I come your way again, stay blessed.